How do people making $12 an hour go on so many vacations?
I just pulled from made another loan to cover a credit card so we could go on our trip.
A new study shows that a third of Americans going on vacation this summer are going into debt to afford it.
Can we not normalize the idea of being in credit card debt to travel the world?
Why are you in a bunch of debt, 27 years old?
I spent $10K going to Europe.
Oh no!
I have dos preguntas before we get into this video. One is, what do you call a person that is financially illiterate but still makes destructive financial decisions? Destructive is a crumbling word. But second question, is financial literacy a privilege? Let me know down below.
I have a question for the people that go into debt for a vacation.
I don't, but
No, I'm not
listening.
judging anyone. I 1000% have gone into debt for vacation.
Not
which
me.
sounds crazy, I know, but I'm in front of you guys because I've made poor financial decisions in my life. Not anymore. Haven't made any bad decisions in the
Live and
last
you
5
learn.
years financially, but I have made poor decisions. And going into debt for a vacation was definitely one of those bad decisions. I will say this was college age, I have not done it in forever. Anyway, I want to know how you guys feel about it, how you feel on vacation. Because when I went into debt for vacation in college, I could not enjoy my vacation. It was so hard for me to enjoy my vacation because it's not like you're buying the flights or X, Y, and Z with debt. You're paying for everything on the vacation in debt. It's your vacation's supposed to be fun and relaxing, but it's not fun and relaxing because you're stressed about all the money you spend. So I think I went on one vacation while I was in debt and got into more debt, and I was that was the dumbest thing. Anyway, I'm just curious, do you guys feel that guilt and is it just you brush it off and you're just whatever, I deserve a vacation? Or people, yeah. Are you do you feel guilty? I'm telling you, by the end of it, I'm I couldn't even enjoy my vacation because of the anxiety I had about digging myself into more debt doing this. Anyway, no judgment here. I'm just curious because I've been there. I've done.
So I went under the comment section of that video and people had some things to say. One person said, I wondered how people afford so many vacations, then realized in my mid-20s that people go into debt for those vacations. And she answered, yes, it is a very common thing to do. I did, and oh my goodness, never again. When I look at those pictures, I can still see how I was feeling. I save now or nothing. And then she responds, I'm the same exact way. I hate looking at those vacation photos because it just reminds me. Nope, no guilt. I just enjoy the time, but I'm making better decisions now, planning ahead. Yes, planning ahead is the best move, and I wish I had no guilt, but it eats me alive. I totally get it though. I'm a mix. I have debt, but I put money aside for vacations instead of paying all the debt because my mental health needs it. Honestly, I do believe everyone needs a vacation. I believe that too, from their real life, so I get it. So this reminds me of three things. Prioritizing your life, prioritizing your future, your today, your tomorrow, and what you did yesterday affecting your future. The second thing is you can save up 11 months ahead and then go on vacation on your 12th month. That way you're not really stretching yourself too far, depending on how your finances are. I'm not talking to the rich here. I'm talking to middle class, maybe even lower class. It just depends. If the shoe fits, you will wear it. The third thing I see happening maybe in the lower class, which comes back to your priorities, is you can save up for 11 months. And then when it's time for vacation, you have maybe three types of people. People that just say, you know what, never mind. I'm just going to stay home and go on a vacation another time. You have somebody that is going to look at the money that they saved up for the vacation because that is the only thing they could save for, and say, you know what, this money could be used for something else. And I know there's somebody that's going to relate to this. You don't even have to comment and let me know. It goes deeper than that. And then the third person is a person that actually goes on the vacation and still feels guilty for spending the money, even though they deserved that vacation. And once again, you do not need to comment if you don't want to, but I know there are people like that. If things were up to me, people would have vacation no matter your job, but hey, that's not how life goes.
A new study shows that a third of Americans going on vacation this summer are going into debt to afford it.
Not
See, I don't get it
surprising.
because I couldn't go on a vacation and enjoy it knowing I couldn't afford it. Knowing when it's over, I'm going back to reality, which is going to be debt because I went on a trip I couldn't afford. That's not fun for me. I would be stressed. I wouldn't enjoy it. How are you guys enjoying a trip you can't afford? And this is totally the problem today with instant gratification and no one actually putting in the effort to affording what they want in their life. It's all about living for today. It's all about YOLO and FOMO. Let's use my Europe trip from last summer. So for a 6-day trip, it cost me $2,000 flight, stays,
That's
food,
cheap.
all that. I know how to do things cheap. But to afford that $2,000 trip, I would need to save $166 a month. No, don't drive down here. Wait, but I like the song.
Me.
You want to go to Europe this summer, sell your TV and cut the cable. You know what I mean? Like, make a fucking sacrifice for once in your life to afford what you want. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to finances is learn how to say no now so you can live a life of yes later. And I have lived by that shit. Most Americans don't live like that. Everyone wants their cake and eat it too. They want to continue to go shopping. They want to continue to go out to eat all the time. They want to do concerts. They want to do this. They want to do that. And then when it comes to summertime, oh, I'm going to just do a trip too and I'm just going to go into debt for it.
Figure it out
You guys
later.
make me so sad. Like, some of you don't realize, like, you're ruining your own life. Like, if you would just change your habits, if you just change your mindset, if you would just say no to yourself for once in your damn life, you would have the potential to get into a better financial situation so you could live the life you want. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Keep doing what you're doing and let me know how that's working for you.
Let me know how that's going for you is so funny to me because obviously it's not going well. So being open-minded is also part of financial literacy. People are stuck in their ways and they don't want to expand their knowledge on finances. They just believe it is A, B, and C, and it can never be Z. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, be open-minded. And then another thing he mentioned is the whole instant gratification, YOLO. Let me tell you, we've all been young. I would always find myself throwing phrases like YOLO, do it anyway. Now that I'm older and my frontal cortex is fully developed, it's always developing, I realize that it is more YODO than it is YOLO because you only die once, not including the afterlife. Here on Earth, YOLO is so risky. Especially if you're somebody that is financially stable, telling it to somebody that is not financially stable and then watching their life crumble. Not speaking from experience, I'm just telling you what I see sometimes. So yes, life is short, but let's be more positive because YOLO, if you really want to talk about it, sounds a little negative. You're thinking of death instead of thinking about the life you could possibly be living. Now, maybe I'm going too deep for some of y'all, but I'm just saying, if you really think about it, I could never take myself seriously. I haven't looked at the stats, but you could live up to 70 years old. And if you are in debt and your financial foundation has already crumbled or was never formed to begin with, it's time to pick up the pieces and start building because your 50-year-old self will thank you later. Just know the decisions you make now lay out the foundation for your future. For the most part, it can always change, but that's all I'm gonna say.
For a family trip of 4 to Europe, that's a big amount. Here are my 3 possible ways for you to fund your next dream vacation.
Okay.
The first way is to get a personal loan.
Ma'am?
But how
Personal loan?
My mother would say, 要死啊, which means wanna die ah. Taking a personal loan to go on a holiday means you don't have cash on hand to go on a holiday. Then don't go lah. And if you want to go on a holiday, use credit card. At least still got points eh. This is assuming that you can pay on time and in
Exactly.
full. No offense to this TikToker. Peace. I know that it's just an ad, but I've seen the way debts have killed people. So that's where I draw the line. What do you guys think about personal loans? Comment and let me know.
I honestly think taking out a loan for vacation is insane. You're probably already in debt for your credit cards if you're taking out a loan. Now you're gonna probably use that loan to pay off your credit card and your credit card pay for vacation, and then who's gonna pay for that loan? Y'all?
How do people making $12 an hour go on so many vacations?
Bestie, I'm almost certain this isn't the type of answer you want, but it's the type of answer you're getting. Realistically, we don't teach financial literacy in high schools, so it's totally possible these folks are just not very financially literate, they don't have strong personal finance skills, and are taking on a bunch of debt to live these lavish lifestyles. Alternatively, they could have super rich parents who
There
are
you
funding
go.
the vacation or funding the rest of their life, like rent and food, so that they have this extra income to go on vacation. Third possibility, maybe Photoshop, maybe splitting one
We've
room
all
with 8
seen it.
people. Regardless, it's not as luxurious as it may seem. Fourth possibility, they could have another source of income that you have no idea about. Just because they're making $12 an hour at one job doesn't mean that's all they're making. In our digital age, there's this constant sense of needing to keep up with the Joneses, but that may not be in your best financial interest. Make the right decision for you, start a sinking fund for your next trip, and you can follow me for more on money and finance.
She just reminded me of what I think it's Bradley on a Budget. Okay, the name speaks for itself. She reminds me of what Bradley said when he spoke on FOMO. And this is another thing when it comes to financial literacy is understanding your own finances and not looking to where you think the grass is greener, because you don't know who is watering that garden, watering that yard, watering the grass. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So if you're somebody that struggles with FOMO, I honestly think it's just time for you to wake up, delete social media, I don't know, unfriend people if it means, but I don't know, do something, because you may get into debt when your friend or coworker is probably being funded by somebody else. Don't have FOMO, don't have envy. Instead of asking why me, maybe ask how. I feel like I need just an entire video just ranting about finances, but I'm gonna leave it there. There's more from where that came from.
We're in a really bad financial position.
In total, how many vacations do you take a year?
3.
Okay, round up.
Last year we took about 10.
10 vacations?
It's my math, exactly. I say take whatever it is and triple it. However much you say you eat out, triple it.
Right.
However much you say you take vacation,
Right.
triple it.
Yeah.
It never fails. Everybody make a note. Ramit's rule number 318, vacations. Whatever you say you spend, triple it. How do you pay for all this stuff when you go to the Bahamas?
Well, the flight, I usually use miles. And then the hotel, I'll get like through my job, they have like discounts. I'll pay that on the debit card. But when we get there, it's like a free for all. Like I'll just use a credit card. And we have a lot of credit card debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Banks and credit cards love you too.
Okay, so obviously I'm a travel content creator, I'm in travel talk, I see all these videos, but like, can we not normalize the idea of like being in credit card debt to travel the world?
Yeah.
I can understand wanting to take advantage of your 20s and you can honestly do what you want with your life, but like, if I could give you any advice, I feel like that is so irresponsible to go into debt to travel the world. Especially credit card debt. Like credit card debt, you will never pay that off. Like the interest on that is insane. And it's like, I just don't think it's worth it. And I see people talking about that all the time. They're like, haha, I'm in so much debt. I just put on my credit card. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Please, don't do that. Don't do that.
Unless you move to
And like,
another
I know I sound
country
insane
after.
because I have 10 credit cards. I don't carry a balance on those cards. Those cards are making me money. I get so many rewards from those cards. I get so many free things from those cards. I am not in credit card debt. Like, that is my biggest fear even. Like, I feel like it is just so much more worth it to just save up your money, like work as much as you can and save up your money and then travel that way. Like, it is not worth it. Like, I cannot stress enough. It is not worth it to have credit card debt so you can see the world. Like, you will be paying that back forever. Forever. Like, I think you need to sit down, get a job, work, and then go see the world. But like, please don't get in credit card debt. Please. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
If the words that are about to come out of my mouth sting, get some cream, rub it where it hurts, take a nap, and come back and watch the entire video. If you watch that travel content creator and for a split second you said, easier for you to say, you're part of the problem. Remember we spoke about being open-minded? You're part of the problem. That is it. That is all. If you want clarity, ask me in the comment section below and I will give you more clarification for the statement that I just made.
Guys, I thought this topic needed some discussion.
It's always my
because
generation.
Basically, Gen Zs and millennials are now using debt to fund their travels. Of course. And as a travel creator myself, I always advocate for getting out there and exploring the world, but I don't mean using debt to finance it. I don't really know what to think of this, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on both sides, I guess.
I'm not
so
surprised.
feel free to leave it in the comments below. But in this article, it says that 42% of Gen Zs and 47% of millennials are using debt to pay for their summer travels, and summer travels by this generation is actually substantially high. This actually shows the most popular methods of using debt to finance, so this includes credit cards being paid over multiple months, buy now, pay later services, borrowing from family and friends, and even personal loans. So again, if you're someone who participates in these methods, I'm not judging or anything like that. I'm just genuinely wanting to know what your thought process is. Like, you travel now, but then how are you going to pay off the debt later? Are you just, taking up extra side gigs, things like that? And I know life is short and it's best to, travel while you're young, yada yada, but I mean, even this article says that travel happy Gen Zs
don't even feel optimistic about their finances, which I mean is completely understandable. And do know I'm a travel creator. I travel a lot, so if you guys are wondering how to travel cheaper, smarter, anything like that, just let me know and I can post more videos about this topic. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this topic up for discussion, so feel free to flood the comment section. I will be reading and responding.
It's all about budgeting, being realistic with your finances, not going above and beyond and biting yourself in the butt in the future. It shouldn't be as complicated. You don't have to go on an extravagant vacation to clear your mental. With that said, though, I'm not saying go on an extremely cheap vacation either, where you're penny pinching. Budgeting, prioritizing, executing, happiness, less debt, better future.
I just like pulled from made another loan to cover a credit card so we could go on our trip.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay.
And I didn't tell him.
What do you mean? Wait, why doesn't he get to know that? Why are we doing that without his knowledge?
Oh.
He thought you were pulling from an emergency fund. Not that that's even better, but actually, no, you said the trip was pre-planned.
I was going to tell him.
Was, but you didn't, so I don't give it was. You didn't.
Better put out a loan for a lawyer.
Huh?
I didn't tell him.
Why?
Because, I mean, I was going to.
But you did.
Taking out a loan for travel and not telling your husband, the husband is honestly keeping his best composure. I know he's fuming inside because I would be too. That could, depending on if it's in her name or both of their names, it could affect one of their credit scores, if not both. He thought it was the emergency fund. What happened to communication in marriage? What happened to communication in general? What is happening to this world?
Why are you in a bunch of debt, 27 years old?
I spent like 10K going to Europe.
Ooh.
Yeah, for 5 weeks. And I know that it's not going to make me look good and people are going to have opinions about this, but I honestly do not regret that for a second.
Well,
it gave me like a reason to want to live again. Honestly,
He said,
when
yeah,
I quit my job, I had 10 to 15K saved up. Like as emergency
Why'd you quit your
savings.
job?
It was a tough work environment. It was basically one of those things where the boss felt like a Bravo reality TV show. Like he was the villain, but also like super hectic and a lot going on. So I'm grateful for the experience and I'm really glad I left there. But I do try to take on freelance clients if it's worth it. But right now I'm just trying to focus on my new job. And it is a pretty new job. And so, yeah, I really like where I am.
Okay, so are you okay?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, no, it's okay. Your voice is shaking, so I just want to make sure.
In general, I do get shaky when I talk too. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, just as someone who is an anxious person and has my own issues with that, I want to make sure.
Thank you.
This is going to be a plot twist. And granted, we didn't see the whole video. I didn't see the whole video. Based on what I'm seeing, I think she's part of, when I was talking about the 3 types of people, she had the money. It was an emergency fund. She used it. It wasn't a credit card. It wasn't anything. And she enjoyed her stay in Europe. I'm honestly not mad at it. She has a new job now and she has a side hustle as well. And I don't see anything wrong with it, especially if she doesn't have any student loan. Maybe my feelings were into that one a little too much. And then her voice cracking and her feeling, I guess, now guilty for taking that vacation, even though she could afford it. I'm not mad at it.